Welcome back, mystery seekers, to another episode of the Mystery Society. I'm here with a dog. Welcome back, mystery seekers, to another episode of the Mystery Society. I'm here with my best friends in the goddamn world, Taylor Doll.
That's me.
Jenn. We're going to be talking today about the disappearance of Cursed Gordon.
Cursed Gordon?
Yep.
Nope.
And Joanne
Is
Ratcliffe.
his first name Cursed?
Well, her first name's Cursed.
Is he related to Flash Gordon?
I think it's Kirsty. Kirsty Gordon. Kirsty Gordon.
Curse?
This is actually kind of a rough case. This is related to the case that I talked about a few weeks ago, the Beaumont children case. It's related. We're going to get into all that. This case actually goes pretty deep, and it's kind of a little conspiracy business going on.
Are we gonna make another deep joke?
We can. This part's really brief. I'm just going to go through what happened on the day that they went missing. So it's August 25th, 1973. It's a South Australian National Football League match at the Adelaide Oval, which is a stadium in Adelaide. Joanne Ratcliffe, who's 11 years old, is attending the game with her parents. Kirsty Gordon is 4 years old and attending the game with her grandmother. Both of these families have season tickets and they sit next to each other. So they know each other really well. They're like family friends and all that. Kirsty's grandmother asked Joanne to take Kirsty to the bathroom. So they go to the bathroom. They come back a few minutes later. Everything's fine. Half an hour later, Kirsty has to go to the bathroom again. Joanne takes her.
Stop giving this girl liquids.
Yeah. And then they don't come back. And they haven't come back since. They haven't been seen really since either. But there's some discrepancies there. Each family member decides to take a different part of the stadium and start searching. They don't find anything. The grandmother decides to stay at the seat in case the kids come back. They don't come back, nothing happens.
So there were only 3 of them searching for these 2 kids? Did they tell security or anything?
Yeah, they told everybody. And the assistant curator of the Oval mentioned that he had seen the girls leave the Adelaide Oval with a man. There were multiple reports that said the same exact thing. They said, we saw them leaving with a man, here's what the man looked like, right? There were 4 sightings altogether. In 3 of the sightings, Joanne looked distressed. That's what the witnesses said.
So everyone sees this distressed child with a weird man. No one's like, hey, why are you dragging that, like, crying kid out of the stadium that you
Right.
probably don't know?
Right. Can you describe how they looked? Oh, they looked like they needed help.
Yeah.
Did you help?
Did you help them? Yeah.
Yeah. So I almost gave up on this case, because that's actually all the information.
Oh, shit.
As of, like, what happened at the event. There's no other information about what happened at the Oval, right? There wasn't a huge investigation. It's just a weird case. This is where things are probably going to start to either make you mad or upset in a certain way. There's a lot of people on the internet who have really delved into this case, and they've come back with some pretty fucked up shit.
All right.
Great. Thanks, Internet.
Let's get
So-
started.
First of all, this case is related to the Beaumont children case. The identikit drawings, sketches, which we talked about in the Beaumont children case, they showed a guy with shallow cheekbones, really tall, thin-faced man, all that stuff. Here's the Adelaide Oval guy. That's the identikit sketch.
Okay.
And this is the Beaumont children guy.
That just looks like a fucking alien.
Yeah.
He looks like a firefighter because
Yeah.
of the stupid hat.
No, that he just doesn't have a hat,
Yeah, that's the only difference. He's
so he can't be him. That one guy has a hat, the other one doesn't.
We're gonna get pretty deep into this.
That's what she said.
So I'm going to make a pretty big claim, and then we're going to talk about all the evidence to support that claim. Here's the big claim. A lot of people, there's a community on the internet, in forums, YouTube videos, very weird cryptic YouTube videos, by the way. I went through a lot of them.
Like Suicide Mickey?
Yeah, kinda, actually. They're pretty bizarre. All of these people believe, and they've got a lot of documents to support this, that there is an alleged pedophile ring in South Australia around that time that was covered up by government officials and led by high-ranking government officials.
Honestly,
Episode
it's
done.
not the craziest thing I've ever heard because
One of the YouTube videos I watched talked about this, it was some kind of a document, and I couldn't find any information about it because of it apparently was covered up. 700 victims of child abuse or child sexual abuse named 1,700 abusers in South Australia who were high-ranking government officials, more or less. It was never investigated. It was just pushed to the side by Crime Stoppers, by the police, by pretty much everybody. They just went, oh, weird list, and then they threw it away. Let's talk about some other shit.
Drops a bomb and then just says, okay, moving on.
No, we're not moving on. We're getting into it. A lot of people are fucking pissed about this case. A lot of the videos that I used for research, because there was no information on... There was no articles about this case that gave me any of this information. It was all YouTube videos and people who had written blogs about it. These people are pissed the fuck off at the South Adelaide Police Department, or the South Australia Police Department, whichever it is. They're saying that this case should have been solved immediately, and there's almost no reason that they didn't have a suspect and they didn't solve the case. So let's talk about how they fucked up. There's kind of two schools of thought. Either the South Australia police are completely incompetent and just fucked up completely, or they legitimately did try to cover up a pedophile ring in South Australia.
Could be either.
Could be either.
About equal odds.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Let's talk about Robert McMahon. Robert McMahon is a witness. He was living in a boarding house in Prospect, which was a suburb of Adelaide, on August 25th, 1973. So just to recap, that's the same day as the disappearance. I thought it was a few days later, but it's the exact same day. He's in his room in the boarding house. He's watching football on the TV. He hears a loud racket out of the back of the house, so him and some of the other boarders come out to see what the deal is. One of the boarders is coming through the back door with two children, right? He's got the smaller one in his arms, and the larger one is walking in front of him. At this point, now there's like 4 or 5 people standing around going like, hey, what's the fucking deal over here?
Yeah.
And he starts trying to joke around with the kids and like parading them around in front of all these people, and he's like, these are my grandkids. And the taller one starts to speak up, and he tells her to shut up and not to talk in front of all these guys. Oh, sorry, here's a quote actually from the witness. He said, I can still see the taller girl now as she walked past me. It was all very weird. Later, he went into the kitchen area where he saw the man drag the small girl to the back of his van and threw her into it pretty aggressively, and then motioned for the bigger one to jump in as well.
I really gotta say that I love the witnesses who genuinely see bad or sketchy shit happening and then are just like,
Nope. You're about to get pretty mad. Check this out. He was so worried about it that he immediately, after seeing this, drew a sketch of the van and drew 2 sketches of the children so that he could show it to police and be like, this is the van I saw, these are the kids I saw. When he hears about the abduction, because it's on the news and everything, it's on TV, it was a very, very big event, he sees the pictures of the 2 girls and he goes, those are the girls. Big time, those are the girls. It's been like 2 days. He's like, that's fucking them. I just saw them, that is them. So he calls the police and he goes, yo, this is all this shit I saw. Check this out, right? I got these drawings, I got this van, I got everything. I know what happened, I know what's going on. The police said, we'll get back to you.
no, that's a fucking cover up.
They don't get back to him. So next week, he calls them again. He goes, hey, no, seriously, like, for real, we gotta figure this out. And they go, we'll get back to you. A year later, he calls again and he goes, guys, I'm fucking telling you, we gotta figure this out. And they go, we'll get back to you. So
This
he goes,
is when you do your own investigation.
yeah, he goes, fuck this, and he just stops trying. He just gave up. So now we're gonna go back. I don't know if you remember, we're gonna talk about Arthur Stanley Brown again. He was one of the suspects in the Beaumont children case. We talked more in depth about Spencer von Enum. He was the guy who had done surgical blah, blah, blah on his victims. But the other guy, the other main suspect, if you'll remember, Arthur Stanley Brown, he got let go because they were just like, yeah, he's not the right age, whatever.
He was young and like blonde and stuff,
That was
right?
so stupid.
Yeah, but he
That's-
matched. He was the one who matched the descriptions perfectly, and he didn't age that much from any of these cases until
Vampire.
the time he died. So witnesses who saw him for all of the stuff he's been accused of were like, no, that's him. I'm looking at him. He looks the exact same as he did when I saw him 30, 40 years ago. So here's what happens with Arthur Stanley Brown. He's a very, very bad man, first of all. We're gonna talk about a completely different case very quickly. A woman, or a girl, I don't have the ages in front of me, but they were young. All the people in all these cases were very young, was abducted, raped, and murdered. And they thought Arthur Stanley Brown did it. Okay. This is gonna get kind of confusing, so just roll with me here.
Great.
All of the witnesses said, in this case, this other case, that they saw Arthur Stanley Brown, or whoever the suspect is, obviously they didn't know his name, with the two girls who had been abducted, raped, and murdered, in a vehicle that had one odd-colored door. All the door, like, it was all painted
So, like,
correctly
the door
except
had
one
been
door.
replaced.
Sure, yeah. The witnesses claimed the car that they saw the suspect in was a Holden EH. Two of them said it was the much rarer Vauxhall Victor, which are both types of cars, I guess. A key moment in that case was a witness who pumped gas for him and spoke to him, as well as spoke to the children who were later found dead. He pumped the gas for him, and he remembered that the gas cap was on the left side of the vehicle. Holden vehicles are not built with gas caps on the left side. They're built with them on the right side. So we really should rule out the Holden thing and be looking for a Vauxhall Victor, right? The police believed so heavily that it was a Holden EH that they not only threw out the testimonies of the two people who said that it was a Vauxhall Victor completely, but didn't investigate the possibility of it being a Vauxhall Victor whatsoever, despite
Bullshit!
despite being at multiple places where they're like, well, there's a Vauxhall Victor right there, which did happen to be the right one they were looking for, and they were like, well, yeah, but it's not one, so fuck it, and they left. Here's the other thing. Arthur Stanley Brown drove a Vauxhall Victor with one odd-colored door.
Fucking why did, like, nobody do any... I'm just gonna keep screaming. I have no other emotion other than just scream. That's it. What the fuck?
Since we've talked about him so much, I added this part in just because I did want to wrap up
Fuck
Arthur
that
Stanley
dude.
Brown's whole story. Police admitted that this was a big reason that the investigation went unsolved for so long, and they believed that if they hadn't thrown that information out, that specific case would have been solved a lot sooner. In fact, the case never necessarily got solved because it wasn't until it was 20 years after the bodies of the girls were found, or since they went missing. It had been a long fucking time is the point, that he was finally brought to trial for the murder of these girls. At the trial, the jury found themselves unable to convict him, so the judge threw out the trial and was going to try it again a few years later. A few years later, Arthur Stanley Brown had developed so much mental illness and dementia that his lawyer deemed him unfit to be tried, so he was never actually tried for any crimes, spent the rest of his life in a mental asylum, and died in 2002, so we'll never know what happened to any of these people because this guy probably fucking did all of it.
So that was a third set of girls?
Yeah.
Or of children?
Yep.
Gotcha.
January 2007.
I have the worst goosebumps. What the fuck?
It gets worse.
No!
This part's worse.
No!
It somehow gets worse. We're doing it, boys.
I don't want to do any of this.
I love this case. January 2007, my friends.
Taylor's done.
Convicted pedophile Mark Trevor Marshall writes a statement calling out his grandfather, Stanley Arthur Hart, and he says in the statement that his grandfather is a suspect in the abduction and murder from the Adelaide Oval of Joanne and Kirsty. He basically draws this map out, and he picks the Pekina Dam and the Yatina farmhouse that his grandfather owned as two places of interest involved in the case. So he draws these maps, he's like circling shit, he's like, here's what my grandfather did here, here's what he did over here, here's where he put the bodies, here's all this shit, right? And he gives it to the police. The police go, cool, thanks, and they put it in the archives. And then a year later or so, they go, all right, we'll release it to the public. So it gets released to the public, it gets given to the media and everything. Private investigators look at this shit and they go, and so they start investigating it.
How did they never do anything with that? Oh my god.
So a year later, private investigators search these two places and they find some items. I've seen the footage. There's two different videos. I believe they're different videos. They could be the same video, just split up, but whatever. Basically, one of the times they went in, they searched the farmhouse. In the farmhouse, you remember that hat that guy was wearing?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
they found that hat.
That's why I didn't have it in the second sketch.
Stupid
I'm just
fucking hat.
kidding. Wait.
I'll show you. I got it pulled up right here. the
So,
footage of the hat.
Yes.
Can I ask, is this like journalistic style?
No. It's
Or it's
literally, they walk in with like
They're
a
like,
camera.
we're going in.
Yeah, literally.
Oh shit.
Yeah, 100%. That's the hat. You see?
It's a stupid fucking hat. Why do they have 2 hats?
They just found a shitload of these hats.
Oh, so he obviously was going for a look.
That's what they pull out from the farmhouse.
Okay.
In January 2009, they returned to the Pekina Dam. They realized that Marshall had explained that there was a hidden tunnel underneath the dam. And when I heard about this, right, I thought it was like, you know, like an access way or like something built into the dam. This is it. It was covered up by like a huge piece of scrap metal. Massive, like the front of a car massive.
Oh, I don't fucking like this at all.
It gets worse. These are...
I know I joked about Blair Witch, but it's starting to really feel fucking Blair Witchy. I don't fucking like this.
How do you think I fucking feel? It was 4 a.m. when I was watching this video. That's shitty, right? That's a shitty fucking tunnel. That is a man-made tunnel.
Did they go in there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, do you want to watch them? Oh, fuck.
That's a bird.
Well, they do.
The bird's not scary.
Good job, Jen.
This
That's a
dude-
bird. Next.
See, here's the tunnel.
Fuck you. Oh!
This guy who made this video fucking sucks. He made like an 18-minute video of like, it's just shitty. So it's kind of hard, because these are all pictures. And he's got this
With
music.
a shitty...
Is that Evanescence?
It's like an
I think so.
AMV.
In this world you try.
Exactly, that's this entire video. It's like an AMV. Anyway, in that cave, private investigators pulled out 2 oil drums, basically, barrels, which is what the guy said. He said he dumped the bodies in some barrels, put them in this cave, right? So they find the barrels and they take them out. South Australian police ran some tests and found traces of blood and an acid-like substance inside of the barrels. There's also...
I hate this.
Let me see. Well, here's the barrels. It's right here.
Yeah.
And you can
What
see
the
what's in
fuck?
there, right? I'm hoping that this guy has...
Something other than Evanescence playing over his
was-
fucking video?
It was him!
Someone on YouTube who gave me a lot of this information and compiled it into a pretty good video is a person named Dreamweaver, and she is pissed about this whole thing. And one of the things that I thought was really funny was after they found the traces of blood and an acid-like substance, while doing all of the sifting and everything, they determined all of this evidence to be of no significance to the case. Real quick, check out this photograph. What do you see in the corner over there?
What am I looking at? Is it
A shoe?
Maybe a little girl's shoe?
A little girl's shoe?
Why in the literal fuck? I'm gonna set my hair on fire in this damn candle.
Would you call that no significance, or what kind of words would you use for that?
Significant.
Police have been more or less uncooperative with attempts to solve both this and
Less.
Beaumont children.
Less.
Less cooperative.
Right,
Less
less cooperative
cooperative.
trying to solve both of these cases. But here's the big thing that it's important to remember is I'm only talking about the 2 biggest cases in Australia. I could do this every week, you know? We could every week I
to
could
cover
come
a
in.
murder in Australia? you
In
mean?
Adelaide,
In
Australia, that involves fucking Arthur Stanley Brown, all these other dickheads that I've been mentioning. This fucking informant guy, remember that? Who called the police and was giving all this information and was like solving all
yeah.
these rapes and
Oh,
murders.
this
and
is
shit?
That guy!
What?
Psychic
No,
guy?
the informant.
No, Mr. B? Was
Yeah,
that his name?
Mr. B.
Mr. B kept calling the Adelaide Police Department. He was giving information to solve all of these child abuse cases. And it was like a lot of them that he was like giving information that led to arrests. and
Whatever
things like
happened to
that.
him?
He just, probably isn't doing anything. And also, why are they not arresting that fucking guy? Joanne's sister has held on to hope. She's held on to hope all these years and is actively taking part in the investigation and is helping out private investigators and working with the news. She actually just released a spot like a few years ago talking about the case and talking about how she's calling for like more things to be excavated. They found these wells by the farmland property. She's like, okay, we need to jump in there and figure it out. The police started to investigate it, but they were like, it's too unsafe, and they kind of stopped. They never got to the bottom of the well, basically. They like went down a little bit, and they were like, I don't know about this. And
Do you
then
guys
stopped.
want to go?
What? Yeah.
You want to check out
I'll
the
go
wells?
into a well.
Adelaide?
Yeah, check out the wells.
Yeah, I mean, everybody involved in this shit's probably dead anyway. It's not like we have any real danger.
And I mean, his
Except
grandson is even
for
after
the
him, you know?
zombies. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that guy's a bad man. That guy's in jail too. They're both
What?
rapists.
The
Him
grandson?
and his grandpa are both. Yeah, they're both like child rapists.
No fucking way.
Yeah. Well, so that's why the one
Wait, he
guy...
drew up all this maps like while he was
You
in
know
jail?
you're bad
Yeah, while he
when
was in
like
jail.
another child rapist is like, you're worse than me, you're fucking really bad.
Yeah, he was in jail, and that's just what he did, like, as a side project. He did all
Maybe he
that.
was just grumpy. Like his grandpa taught him to like kill and rape, and then he wants to be better than his grandpa. But like his first kill, he like gets sent to prison. He's like, well, my grandpa.
You grandpa, you didn't do anything for my career.
So like I said, Joanne's sister is really interested in finding the bodies. Her main thing is she just wants her sister's body laid to rest.
Right.
She wants to give it a proper burial, whatever that comes with.
Right.
So she's...
Joanne's the older one, right? So this is the older. What about the younger kids' family? Are they doing anything about
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about them. Like, that's the thing is because there's already not enough information about this case to go off of in general. So, I mean, honestly, like, if you guys look up this case, you're going to find, like, this much text on a page about it.
That's fucking
You have to
crazy.
really dig to find all this other information. And that's the thing is, like, I don't understand how it's not out there. Like, it was hard for me to find it.
Right.
I'm watching YouTube videos with 30 views learning about this case. You know what I mean? You know, like our videos.
Thanks for watching. Oh wow,
Yeah.
that was great.
Yeah.
It's like the good old days when we
Oh,
used to
that's
do that
true.
all the time.
We used to jinx.
There's so much kind of there. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many abductions that happen around the same time. There's so many people who firmly believe that there's some kind of cover-up. There's a lot of weird things that government officials are doing and the police have been doing. And when you have all of these witnesses in both cases, in all three cases, really, where they're being discredited completely off of, like, this information, you know what I mean? I don't know. I think there's really two ways you can look at it. Either really shitty police work or some shit happened.
I mean, it's probably a little bit of both. Like, it might be local police kind of fucking up now and then, but it's probably a mixture. But because if government officials are just like, no, you guys really shouldn't look into this, like, don't look into this, and local police are like, oh, all right, if you say so, like, okay, we won't.
Yeah.
If people that actually gave a shit about it but had like a little bit of power were able to step in and be like, no, this is what I fucking found, this stuff connects, all of this makes sense, I think they might have gotten even a little bit further than they have. But like, it's taken some armchair detectives to make actual connections here.
And that's the thing, is that these are just people.
Right.
Like, the police didn't make any of these discoveries. It was just other people. The police were the ones who said that none of this mattered. It was the private investigators who are taking this charge. Granted, there is a $1 million reward for information leading to either of the bodies.
Who's paying that?
Crime Stoppers.
What's Crime Stoppers?
Crime Stoppers is basically a agency where if there's a crime that happens, you call them and give them information and they pay you a reward.
Why?
So
They
that
can be the first to report about it, or what?
No, to give the information.
Or to
No, it's
stop
it's like a
crime.
government agency.
Oh, it's a government agency?
Yeah, that like rewards people for giving them information.
So the government is covering up on these crimes and at the same time going like, $1 million if you could fucking find out it's us.
Yeah, and
Well,
a lot
not
of people.
every government agency like works together.
A lot of people actually have brought that up in the forums and the videos I was seeing. A lot of people, they're not very like nice about it. They say things like they'll post a video of the guy from Crime Stoppers like mentioning there's a $1 million reward, and then they'll put comments like, "How about you shove that reward up your fucking ass?" and stuff like that, because they,
Good for them, honestly.
yeah, they hate these people so much. Here's a quote that comes up a lot when you get into these forums and you get into these communities where they're talking about it. They frequently say, South Australia is run by pedophiles for pedophiles. Which is a
So
pretty heavy claim.
That's a big
maybe
statement. Yeah.
maybe let's not go to Australia. I'm just kidding, we're all old, it doesn't matter.
Well, not South Australia. We can go to like the nicer parts, just not Adelaide. Well, yeah, I don't know, it doesn't
We're-
matter.
It doesn't, yeah,
we're
we're
not
all
We're
old.
children.
adults, yeah. We
I
can
don't
do
know,
whatever we
we're
want.
at least
We're not
18.
being targeted, just not Boston. You can't go to Boston.
Yeah.
What-
No,
I
you
wanna-
two can't go to Boston. I'm fucking fine.
You're probably fine.
As much as we joke around on this show and as much as we make fun of a lot of stuff that maybe we shouldn't, it's at the end of the day, this shit happened to real people.
Right.
And that's on all ends. That's the victims, that's the victim's family, that's the police, that's Crime Stoppers. There's a side to every story, and it's important that we tell as much of each story as we can. People have called Yatica, which is like it's where the farmhouse was, and it's sort of like, I think it's in Adelaide or it's around Adelaide. It's in South Australia. It's around the area. People have called that town, I don't know the exact wording because I didn't write it down, but they were saying all this shit about like the town that steals children's souls and like how
What?
the South
Stay a
Australia
while.
Police Department are responsible for ruining the childhood of millions of Australians and shit like that.
What's the claim about though? Like, what's that?
That they're letting
referencing?
all of this shit just happen, you know? That there's all these cases that don't get investigated, and when they do get investigated, you don't fucking arrest the guy for 20 years, and then you don't even do anything with him. You just let him go into the mental hospital and fucking
rot.
die. There's just too much evidence. Like, I mean, listen to this. Doesn't this sound like you guys pretty much know everything that happened in both of these cases?
Yeah.
And if you were a police officer, you would investigate these claims.
I'd look into it.
Nobody fucking looked into it. That's what I'm saying. If the police fucking tried, we'd be having a different conversation. Police didn't even fucking try. Every time they tried, they gave up 10 minutes in and they went, I don't know about this. Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you out of your fucking mind?
We're all gonna get arrested because of how many times we berate the police on this
Fuck
fucking
the South
channel.
Australia Police Department. You guys are fucking up.
That's a wrap.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Mystery Society. Don't forget, South Australia is by pedophiles.
By pedophiles.
Pedophiles.
5 pot pies, 4 pot pies.
Don't forget, South Australia is 4 pot pies by pot pies. Bye-bye.
Perfect.
What if one of us gets abducted?
By aliens?
Aliens.
No.
By aliens. for
Aliens are real.
By aliens for aliens.
Alright, thanks for watching today's episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed seeing Nate's new story and how it connected back to episode 3. Our next episode is going to be another special, like our drunk episode, and we're going to be doing MDMA.
Nope.
Holy fuck!
Nope.
I don't know what we're doing yet.
We're not fucking doing MDMA.
No.
Okay, guess you'll see
don't
next
do
week
real drugs here.
what we're doing. Catch you then.
Fuck you. Dipshit.